It's about some local government chairmen who were sacked, in 2022 by the courts, because they said the election that brought them wasn't properly done. And so there's been this back and forth, accusations, counter accusations, different court cases, one from the PDP at the time that was struck out, and then the one from the APP as a party, and then the APC appealed it, and, they got to arrest part. But then the crux of the matter has been, why some of their prayers were given by Milot at that court. The meat of the prayers is the restatement of those sacked local government chairmen, in which wasn't categorical. There wasn't any categorical statement from the certified true copy of that particular judgment that, it's now in the public space. But then it seems the parties have been drawing inference based on the letters of that particular judgment. So the PDP and the state government of Osun are saying that, there wasn't anything signaling the restatement of those sacked local government chairmen. And of course, the APC are saying, in as much the case filed that was appealed by them has been struck out, that means they have the leeway, to go back to the local government. And there are some insinuations in some quarters that the APC and those, sacked local governments are taking back, those local government secretariats today. These are the rumors that we are hearing. And one will say, how will that pan out, and we hope it doesn't cause breach of security, actually, because there might be, some might be for, some might be against. And one we want to ask, where is the police in all of this? We even learned there was, a press conference held by the state government through the state governor, Governor Ademola Adeleke, where he spoke, who called a world conference and spoke on a range of issues, and especially categorically alleging that the former Osun State governor, his immediate predecessor, talking about Alhaji Adegboyega Oyetola, is currently a minister in the federal cabinet, serving in the capacity as the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, is the one spearheading this chaos, and then that he has compromised the Nigerian police through the Commissioner of Police in the state and some security agencies, giving them that impetus to provide security so that these local government chairmen who are planning to go back today will be covered. And the state government are saying, please, everybody that has ears. In fact, the state governor, Governor Adeleke, appealed and categorically mentioned the president to say, you're a peace-loving person. Don't allow, your relative, Governor Adegboyega Oyetola, to rein in, according to the governor, chaos in this state. We wait to see. But then we're peace-loving people, residents of the state and, indigenes of Osun State as well. We wait to see how that will pan out, because it doesn't look like the state government will fold his hands and look, just to be looking why some individuals take back this local. By the way, there is a local government election slated for this coming Saturday. So where does that lead everybody in the state? We'll look into that. And then that will be the meat of our conversation for today. In all of these, let Nigeria win. Let Osun win. Let the residents be the winner of whatever decisions that have been taken from their several divides, on this matter. We did this quick break. When we return, we head straight to the papers where we reel out juicy headlines for you today. Of course, you have a hint of what the program will look like today. You don't want to miss any part of it at all. Perhaps you're leaving your house right now. Fret not, because you can join us online on our YouTube channel at Western Spring TV. So you just got on, and while you're driving to drop your children at the school, on your way to work, perhaps you are there right now, you have nothing to miss. Femi Ojo is my name. Good morning. All right, so we head straight to what the papers are for us today, and we quite have very interesting one, just like I said, as well. And we will be kickstarting today from the Daily Trust. The Daily Trust Newspaper. 2025 budget. How U.S. aid withdrawal triggered 300 billion allocation for drugs. Others as INEC, EFCC, military. Others get 400 billion naira extra. All right, 2025 budget. How U.S. aid withdrawal triggered 300 billion naira allocation for drugs. Others as INEC, EFCC, military. Others get 400 billion naira extra. And of course, you can see the breakdown of that figure here and the statistics as far as the budget is concerned, and those extras that is being talked about here. An Abuja runway project. Federal government weighs options as contract sum hit 532 billion naira. Okay, again, Abuja runway options as contract sum hit 532 billion naira, with rider revocation likely. Official. All right, revocation likely. Officials. All right, away from that particular story, we have these clerics competing with politicians for power. Sule Lamido. Clerics competing with politicians for power. Sule Lamido. All right, and whatever that means. And away from that story, NLC withdraws members from Osun local governments amid government and APC feud. That is what I said earlier. You know, the NLC has told his members, please leave. And, you know, because of the uncertainty, you know, of what will happen, nobody wants to lose their members or have them injured because politicians are on rampage. Some want to take back the local government because they believe they have been restricted by the courts. And the party in power, the government in the state, are saying there is nothing to that effect. So it seems it might be an action field today, but that possibly that's why the governor called on the president to call on his relative, the minister, who has been alleged with some persons to be spearheading that chaos that we hope won't happen today. All right. Away from that, we have this particular one. Chinese investors to establish $330 million lithium factory in Kebbi. Chinese investors to establish $330 million lithium factory in Kebbi. And another story, top story, airstrikes kills 7 Katsina villagers. Bandits gunned down 3 security men. Airstrikes kills 7 Katsina villagers. Bandits gunned down 3 security men. All right, again, airstrike kills 7 Katsina villagers. Bandits gunned down 3 security men. All right, away from that, Nigeria to AU present mercenaries incursion, prevent rather mercenaries incursion into Africa. Nigeria to AU prevent mercenaries incursion into Africa. United States set to deport 85 Nigerians. All right. Away from that, by the way, before we get away from that, this is a very disturbing story. United States said to deport 85 Nigerians. You know, by the time the president of the United States, Donald Trump, you know, ascended, and by the way, he has made his stuff known even through the campaigns that is going to be very tough on, you know, migration and all of those things. The people who are not properly documented or illegal immigrants. And there will be revocation of, you know, citizenship status of some individuals who, possibly they don't have what it takes to be there, according to him, the president, by the way. And he'll be saying, just because you are born, in the United States and you are not, from that particular country, it doesn't automatically, give you the right to be a citizen, especially, children that are born in the last few years, and it's a lot. Many persons have been, sought after. Some businesses have been affected because people are just fearing for the deportation thing, and that is what is happening. 85 Nigerians are set to be deported by the United States. All right, away from the Daily Trust, that will be all from the Daily Trust newspaper. We have The Guardian for today. The Guardian. Despite a 7.2 trillion naira subsidies, power sector inefficiencies take toll on consumers. Despite 7.2 trillion naira subsidies, power sector inefficiencies take toll on consumers. And you have electricity subsidy 2015 to 2025, 7.2 trillion in subsidies over 11 years, meaning from 2015 to 2025, 7.2 trillion naira has been used as subsidies over this period of time, 11 years. And 2015 to 25 billion was used, 2016 302 billion, 2017 351 billion, 2018 440 billion naira, 2019 528 billion naira, 2020 501 billion naira, 2021 251 billion naira. Okay, there was sharp reduction from 2020 to 2021 because it was 501 to 251 billion naira. And 2022, it reduced again to 144 billion naira. In 2023, there was a sharp increase from 144 billion naira to 618 billion naira. And in 2024, it jumped to 2.3 trillion naira. And in 2025, it jumped to reduced rather to 2.2 trillion naira. So 11 years, 7.2 trillion naira has been used in subsidies. And the bold headline says, despite 7.2 trillion naira subsidies, power sector inefficiencies take toll on consumers. Using the words of the former president of the nation, President Muhammadu Buhari, who said, where is the power? When he came into power, and said, for the years of the PDP, 16 years of darkness, and he said, where is the power? So Nigerians would like to ask him now, almost 10 years of the APC, where is the power? From 2015, when they have taken over, to 2025, where we are. When I mean the government of the APC, where still is the power? 7.2 trillion has been reported to have been used. All right. And, how it has affected or what has been used in different parts of the country through the distribution companies are there as well. Now, power sector debt, 2.2 trillion naira in debt to CBN, meaning some of these monies have resulted in debt to the tune of 2.2 trillion naira, and then $1.9 billion owed to banks. All right, and World Bank, $1.7 billion, power sector recovery and transformation upgrade, and this is debt as well. And from the AFDB has been owed $2.1 billion, meant for energy transition, transmission, expansion. So almost all of these monies have resulted in debt. But then the question is, whatever it has been used for, can we see it at the moment? Has it resulted in giving us quality power supply? I mean, throughout the nation, not just in some pockets of places, and with people paying through their nose. And NERC is the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission. Tariff breakdown, 208 naira per kilowatt total. 208 naira per kilowatt total. Gas supply has what it's given. And you can have the detail from the front page of The Guardian. By the way, away from that, court rejects family's bid for interim administrator of Wigwe's estate. Court rejects family's bid for interim administrator of Wigwe's estate. By the way, last week was the first year remembrance of the death of Mr. Herbert Wigwe, his wife and his son, Cheesy, all of them who passed on in that sad incident in the United States where their, plane crashed, or their chopper rather. That was what happened. But then it has been not just about the legacy of the man, but the family. Some members of the family have not really allowed dust to settle about the death of the man. It's been from one claim to the other, one case to the other, siblings against parents, parents against the siblings. This case is not even about the children, about the family. You know what they say about, in Yoruba parlance, a wealthy home comes with his own, challenges as well. And that is the case with the Wigways. Court rejects family's bid for interim administrator of Wigways estate. And below that, U.S. policy shift leave AGOA, AGOA, and diaspora remittances hanging. A lot, really. And from the bottom strip, federal government vows probe into hoarded relief materials at FCT IDP camp. Federal government vows probe into hoarded relief materials at FCT IDP camp. A camp is IDP in nature for the internally displaced persons caused by possibly war, insurgency, and possibly natural disasters and all of those things. And they are there in that makeshift camp. And some individuals are unfortunate enough to still be hoarding relief materials meant for them. But then one will say it's not just about Abuja. It's what has become a reoccurring factor in those camps. From Abuja to the one in Edo State, to the one in Maiduguri, to the one scattered all abroad, even when, presumably the government and sometimes government of different nations and non-governmental organizations try to help these individuals. You still see some racketeers who who stands because they still continue to gain from the unfortunate situation that those persons have found themselves. And in this case, not just a probe, it should be a fierce one in which anybody found culpable should be made, the way we say it around here, to smell the pepper. You are not just, selfish. Those group of people, they're unfortunate and wicked, and they should be treated, as wicked individuals. That's the way it should be. No hawks should be God in this particular matter, because that's feeding on some person's misfortune. Sad. And here, 2027, Tinubu gets more northern backing as LP spars over Igbo presidency. 2027, Tinubu gets more northern backing as LP spars over Igbo presidency. And away from that, top strip, Adeleke, PDP urged Tinubu to caution Oyetola others against mayhem. Spoke about that earlier. And oil vandals stealing 155,000 barrels as host communities get 78.8 billion naira. Oil vandals stealing 155.000 barrels as host communities get 78.8 billion naira. All right. And this one, alleged $150 million Binance bribe. Header wants accused lawmakers probed. Alleged $150 million Binance bribe. Header wants accused lawmakers probed. The man, Mr. Gambarian, has been speaking of late and, throwing accusations here and there. And he was even categorical in some cases, talking about the NSA, and some parliamentarians saying they were involved when it was being grilled about some particular case and how it was handled and how everything went, and said some persons asked him for money, and he gave their name, including the NSA. That's the national security advisor of this country, allegedly. So such a case should not just be willed away. The federal government has replied, or has given a responded rather on the situation to say everybody should stand down on the matter and people should disregard whatever Mr. Gabarian is saying, because he's one individual who just want to, put a toga of corruption on everybody. And the man is not backing down. In fact, after he spoke on his X handle, he said he was going off the X handle, and later came back to say people have told him to stay there, and stay on this matter if actually his hands are clean. So Nigerians are waiting to see how that will be. All right. And we have the Tribune for today. The Tribune. Adeleke reports Oyetola security chiefs to Tinubu. Adeleke reports Oyetola security chiefs to Tinubu. Accuses them, you have a rider, accuses them of plotting mayhem in Osun today. I'm a man of peace, respect court ruling, Oyetola tells Adeleke. An NLC declares stay at home for local government workers. Planned public holiday can't stop our chairman from resuming APC. And Matawale cautions Babachio Lawal, affirms northern Nigeria's unwavering support for Tinubu. Matawale cautions Babachio Lawal, affirms northern Nigeria's unwavering support for Tinubu. And Tinubu affirms El-Rufai's role in APC formation and elections. All right. And Amotekun files robbery incident on Lagos-Shagamu Expressway. One suspect killed. Bravo to the Western Nigeria Security Network who named Amotekun. Now, SMBLF, the Patriots, Adeboye, Afe, Mamura, Obi, others pay tribute, visit Lekki home. Talking about the departed Pa Ayo Adebanjo. And the cost of obtaining cash remains high despite CBN's enforcement measures. And Trump's policies may impact government revenue. Forex earnings, CPPE1s predict drop in energy prices. That will be all from the Tribune. I move quickly to the Vanguard for today. Vanguard newspaper, Trump's energy policy. Federal government's 19.6 trillion revenue target under threat. And you have the riders, diaspora remittances, forex budget will be impacted. CPPE. Another rider says USA oil impact over dramatized. Nasima, and economic diversifications the way out. Economic diversification is the way out. That's coming from Adonri. And below that, you have the 30th ordinary session of the Assembly of the AU in Ethiopia. All right, away from that, PDP, APC, Bika over parties' internal crises. With Rider, will PDP recover from his leadership problem? Big question. And 2027, Matawale blasts ex-SGF Lawal. Lawal says North solidly behind Tinubu. And youths raise police station in Ondo over alleged death of detainee. And sport, Chioma Ajunwa joins Japa train. Interesting. Sports, Chioma Ajunwa joins Japa train. Chioma Ajunwa is the first gold medalist in the history of Olympics for Nigeria. Interesting one. And top stream, how politicians' weaponization of poverty hurts Nigerians. Archbishop Ugaji, how politicians' weaponization of poverty hurts Nigerians. And federal government to engage 28,000 Nigerian health workers on USAID payroll. You know what is happening with USAID and the investigation around that particular body and what they stand for and the allegations around them at this time. So it's been said that 28,000 Nigerian health workers are on their payroll. And we're hearing that the government has said we will engage them. And Adebanjo burial may hold in May. That is coming from daughter And finally today from the Punch newspaper, finally for this morning, telecoms tariff hike. Telecoms tariff hike. Federal government deploys security agents as NLC insists on protest. Telecoms tariff hike. Federal government deploys security agents as NLC insists on protest. With rider, protests will be hijacked by miscreants, says NSCDC spokesman. Subscribers oppose Labour's move. Interesting. Whatever comes out, whenever people say, we are going to protest by a particular cause that has to do possibly with government and all of those things, just immediately you will hear counter narrative. Oh, they might be hijacked. The security situation can't support it. 2 or 3. The miscreants might use the opportunity, to wreak havoc. And then to the extreme at times, you get to hear supposed intelligence reports saying these protests are being sponsored by enemies of the government, by the opposition. And immediately you can guess, and that is happening already, because the NSCDC has said that the protests will be hijacked by miscreants. We are used to these. Adebanjo, Adeboye, Anyoku, Osinbajo, Obi, ex-governors attend commendation service. And you can see the picture of these eminent men and women. The picture of former Ogun State Governor Gbenga Daniel, former Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, Saimeka Anyoku, the General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Pastor Enoch Adejare Adeboye, with other eminent men and women paying their respect at the commendation service held on the elder statesman who has departed, including P2B of the Labour Party as well. And Alaafin Oyo Prince asked court to sack Owade. And dismembered girlfriend died from asthma, Kwara killer cleric. Dismembered girlfriend died from asthma, Kwara killer cleric. If you have been following that story, a particular young lady who was said to have visited a particular individual known as a cleric, and allegedly died, and her body parts was mutilated. And there is a counter narrative this morning from the same suspect saying that the dismembered girlfriend died from asthma. The question people will ask is if she had died from asthma, so what happened? The asthma dismembered her body part as well. These are the questions. And lastly, for today, local government crisis. Adeleke Oyetola trade words, Labour suspend services. Adeleke Oyetola trade words, Labour suspend services. And OPEC foresees lower Dangote refinery petrol price. But no missing children rise as Boko Haram steps up recruitment. Some children are missing, and some are saying, maybe you can put 2 and 2 together, because Boko Haram are recruiting. They are always been recruiting. And so some children are missing. So you know what that means. Your guess is as good as mine. And ensure fairness in deporting Nigerians, federal government tells US. Lastly, and what I mean lastly now, Edo to petition EFCC as panel alleges 96 billion naira fraud under Obaseki. Edo to petition EFCC as panel alleges 96 billion naira fraud under Obaseki. One will say, you should do that already, if actually there are facts. Now, this is not just propaganda we're chanting. You have your fact. I'm not sure there is any reason for you to publicly, tell the EFCC that you are coming to petition. No, do that already and let the law take its course. That will be all from the papers today. It's been an elaborate one. We'll go on this break. When we return, we'll speak to issues. Don't go nowhere. Good morning.